Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Joy Newsroom with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. Coming up this hour, residents in the Volta regional capital of Ho continue to count their losses following a flash flood that swept through the community. We'll get update from the area from our man on the ground. Now, also in this bulletin, former President John Dramani Mahama accuses the Electoral Commission of attempt to manipulate the outcomes of the upcoming general elections in 2024. Meanwhile, the party is currently holding a Thanksgiving rally in the Asen North constituency to thank them for voting for their candidate, James Jache Kwesen. Now also, first clinic of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair enters second day at Achimota Retail Center as the exhibitors promise a massive discount for prospective homeowners.
This is something that you can have here at the Achimota Mall. And you know, sometimes you have to travel all the way to Spintex, traffic and all that, and we are closer to you. So if you live around here, it's better to come in here at the Habitat Fair, Achimota Mall.
These and many more coming up in this hour. We are a home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please stay for details. Now, some residents of Ho have been counting their losses following a flash flood that swept through the Volta regional capital on Saturday. The flood, caused by a 3-hour rain, destroyed goods and properties worth millions of Ghana cedis in homes and shops. Fortunately, no casualty or death was recorded. Now, the Ho Municipal Chief Executive Divine Boson said the drainage system of Ho must be redesigned and constructed entirely to prevent future flooding.
Down a building and then has taken a lot of waste from that shop. As a chief executive, as I've always been saying, the job of the assembly and the chief executive is to provide solution whenever there is problem. So as we usually do, we will try to at least those that we can do urgently, like the one we are seeing here. We have to call the urban road engineer to do some re-engineering. Then quickly we can do some refilling with gravels. And those that need to be sent to Accra, with Nadbo and myself, we will send them to Accra. We need a lot of drains in town. We must build a lot of drains to contain the volume of waters that are passing through these waterways. And it should be well engineered project. So I will put my reports together as I wait for the final assessment, disaster assessment from the disaster expert. So that is what we have seen on the ground. We are not yet down. We'll continue to go to other places that we know some disaster has occurred.
So let's bring you an update on the situation so far. Our man on the beat is Fred Kwame Asari. He's joining us via phone now. Fred, grateful that you could join us here. What can you tell us is the current situation there?
Yes, so let me just run by what actually happened. The rain started about 3 p.m. Saturday, that was yesterday. Just a normal rain, there was no storm or whatsoever. About 5 p.m., we started seeing videos of flooding in town being circulated on social media. The residents in Bankwe, Akpenamau, Ajimakofe Polyclinic, Ho Technical University, Barracks, prisons, Medical Village, Powerhouse, and then Donokoji were the most affected by this flood because they are along the main drainage system that passes through the whole township. Let me also say that there's this shop in Civic Center. It is actually called Awunya. They deal in textile. Unfortunately, the flood water broke through the back of the store, so it swept away everything in the shop: textiles, clothing, jewelry, what. It swept all. The flood swept all, and then there were other hardware shops situated downstream. They also suffered heavy effects of the flooding exercise. We went around with the assembly engineers, the NADMO officials, and then some other stakeholders. What the affected or what the victims are saying is that the drains that pass through Bankwe down to housing through to Donokoji is too small to contain the volume of water when it rains. So what they are asking is that the drains should be expanded to make it big enough so that when it rains and then the volume of water or there's flooding and then the volume of water is quite large, the drain can actually contain the water and then it would not have to run into homes. Homes along the stretch, if you are in Ho, you get what I'm saying. Homes along Tonokoji, Adabalakoji were all affected. And what the residents are saying is that each year it rains, each year there's a heavy downpour, they experience it flooding, and then officials just come to them and talk to them and tell them that, okay, they would try and resolve the challenges that are the main causes of this flood. But then nothing is being done about it. The next year it rains, the same situation is experienced. So this time around, they are calling on the authorities to ensure that the main drainage system in Ho is redesigned and constructed altogether to ensure that in the near future or in the future they don't experience this flood and then eventually lose their lives and then property.
Okay. We had the MC speaking there. What has been done to the victims of this flooding?
You mean, okay, so the incident actually occurred yesterday. And then this morning people were seen removing their wares, putting their rooms in order. I posed the same question to the municipal NADMO director. They are in charge of this kind of situation. What he told me was that they are now moving around the communities. So even as we speak, they don't know the actual number of affected victims, the actual number of affected households, and whoever. The actual number of affected victims and then houses and shops. So they don't even know what to do at the moment. However, they are just doing their assessment, going around the community. I'm told there are some other communities outside who that were also affected by this flood. So they are now going around the community, collating their data, and then to know that, okay, this is the number of people that were affected, this is the number of people that were displaced, this is the number of people that do not have food to feed on. And so they would put those data, or they'll put the data together, and then they'll be able to tell what to provide these victims. I spoke to one woman earlier, and she told me that the flood water washed away her money, her food. As at the moment, she doesn't have anything to eat. She doesn't even know where to rest her head because her room was flooded during yesterday's downpour. So that is the situation. NADMO is saying that they would have to complete their assessment before they would know what to do to these victims.
If you make it, you have 16 years. I'm ever 54 years.
I came to Ho when I was 16. I am now 54. We have never experienced any form of flooding until the pipes were stationed there. I am telling the authorities, we have already lost our properties. But what happens if a life is lost? They must address this situation.
So there you have it, a victim of this. So Kwame, as we speak, the victims who have been identified, has the Assembly, offered any kind of support as they continue to find out the other victims?
Well, what I would say to that is that we moved around with the MC and then the Assembly engineer and then the Municipal and Volta Regional NADMO directors. They all went there, they all went there empty-handed. They just want to ascertain what actually happened before they know what to do to these victims. To ask to if they have provided them with any relief item or maybe some sort of support. Nothing like that has been done as we speak. But I am told they would make provisions for all those things later on in the day.
All right, grateful to you. That's Fred Kwame Asare. We also have the Assembly member for Bosomtoi area, Sefaji Agama. Grateful to you for joining us here. Now, in your area, how devastating is the impact of the flood?
Thank you, and then good afternoon to your listeners. What I can say is that all the drains in Ho empties in my community and then my electoral area. So I've had buildings pulled down by the flood waters. I've had fences. I have people's homes flooded. And the whole community and the entire municipality is so much devastated by this rainstorm and the flood. I'm most grateful for the outpour of love shown by the regional national coordinator, Ivy Amauga, the municipal coordinator, and then the MC for Home Municipal, Honorable Divine Boston, for rising to the occasion. So this morning, when my call went to them, they were at hand, and we went round to ascertain the extent of damage in the community. That is as far as my electoral area is concerned.
Okay.
But I know many parts of the municipality has been devastated. And from what the MC is telling us is that Togbi Afede, the Agbubomefia, called him and then assured him that they should put a proper drainage system designed so that he will see how far he can also support the municipality. So we are praying that everything will take shape. And I'm also praying that the government will come in to help. The way the devastation is, if the municipal assembly will have to face this in 20, 30 years, I'm not sure the assembly can solve this challenge. So we need all hands on deck.
So what is happening to the displaced in your electoral area?
The displaced, some are ravaging their wares. People are tidying up their homes. Things that have been washed away cannot be traced. Walls that have been pulled down. We are praying that the rain will subside and then people can get their lives back. But as I said earlier, that we are now ascertaining the extent of damage to property, and we are only grateful to God that so far we cannot say that there's been any life lost. But people have lost a great deal of property, and I don't know what to say now. I'm only praying that we get the needed support from every agency, every international organization, JICA, whatever. Let them come to our aid. Otherwise, the purpose of the oxygen city of the Home Municipal Assembly will be defeated with this rainstorm and then the flood.
Okay. So as the night draws on, are we sure that there is none of the victims who won't get a place to stay tonight?
We are yet to attend to the individual needs because we are ascertaining the extent of damage. We have gone community to community. For example, my electoral area was on Twe. We have had more than 5 places affected. But because of the extraneous or the extent of work that the MC and the team has to cover, we only visited 2 locations. So we are only praying that now that it's midday and the clouds have started gathering, we are not praying for further rains. Otherwise, the situation will be aggravated because as we speak, there are people who maybe, we don't know where they will sleep today if the rains fall again because the whole place is flooded. Fence walls are falling, buildings are broken down, shops have been evacuated by the rains. Can you imagine? Shops, the flood waters have entered shops and have taken almost everywhere out of the shops.
Okay,
and
interesting.
It's so pitiful.
It's a sad
I will use
situation.
your medium. I want to use your medium to call for assistance.
Okay.
From wherever we can get assistance.
It's a sad situation. We pray that you do get the support. So that's Sefaji Agama. He is Assembly Member for Bosomtoi electoral area in Ho. Let's just stay on floods because as flood water spread, they threaten lives, inundate homes and businesses, destroy property, damage and prevent access to essential needs. In our next episode of Flat of Trauma, Nana Boache Iyadon visits residents of Dichemso in the Ashanti region facing apprehension as their homes experience consistent floods.
This isn't a moat house, neither is it a stilt building. This is an ordinary home in Dichemso, a popular community in Kumasi. In a traumatic event such as flooding, residents experience difficulty sleeping. They get depressed, angry, and heightened feelings of anxiety.
So you can see, it takes some tactics or techniques to get into this building. So residents have adopted another route. Instead of using this particular gate, they would have to use another stretch. Even at some point in time, they have to jump this particular wall before they can get out of their house.
With the slightest formation of dark clouds, Ikenya Kowa trembles. Her house is flooded after a downpour a week ago.
In so tower has say ya, and that woman say, when you're baby and fat, just a year, just hope you're wanting. I got about 3 hours, 4 hours. And sana waba inside.
When it rains, it gets to my neck. When the house floods, you have to go out for about 3 hours before you can get back to the house.
And then we have another muhanya at check. Can I crack a moon to me? Say, last week, we are attention. And then I'm here, Valanda Muha.
The flood waters reached the window level of the building and covered almost all her personal belongings in her room. Days after the heavy flooding, she is still counting her losses.
We
are suffering. My child is unable to go to school because his books get wet. My room is flooded.
Now this is the means of exit for anybody in this particular building. Because the house has flooded, they use this wall, this fence wall, as a means of exit.
Streams in the community are blocked with gutters clogged. This isn't enough to properly channel the water at a rate that allows it to fully transport all the dirt, twigs, and leaves it collects, causing floods in the community.
Now all gutters in this community is connected to this particular stream. The stream is unable to house the water because it is covered with sand. To allow the stream collect all the water, they have to scoop out the sand, and that is what is going on here.
Yeah, problem. But I could do Chihuahua. I'm about to phrase that here, Fiona, Alabashia, and we suppose she will be Mutabada, Abacasina.
When it rains, the stream is unable to contain the water. This area gets flooded anytime it rains. When it happens, it breaks down the walls and destroys properties.
The Dichemso Community Mosque, closer to the stream, has flooded, leaving worshippers to adopt a smaller space for worship. Amos Mensah has been in the community for the past 12 years. He narrates the situation anytime there is a downpour.
Because of a formula, I say, and so not I was saying, a strong quan as I say, a yaguma. So I have from concern that that's the time because of Sabi Papa and Yamisan Kanakwe, and so
this nice mosque isn't functional anymore because of flood. We only use a small portion. When it rains, you can't use this route. The problem here is huge. This is the main Mensah road. The Kumasi airport is just here. They should do something. We even see crocodiles in the stream sometimes.
The flooded mosque can be described as a pond for fishing. They want government to help solve the flood problem in the community.
We plead with the government to do something about this for us. We don't have any money to rent a new house.
Authorities should fix the gutters for us. If not, our challenge will continue anytime it rains.
For Joy News, my name is Nana Boache Dankwayado, Kumasi.
Let's do some politics now. And flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is alerting the Electoral Commission of the party's readiness to fight back electoral malpractices in the 2024 election. He claims the EC is in a potential tangent to manipulate outcomes of the general elections. According to John Mahama, the Commission's new Ghana Card Identification Directive will deprive some Ghanaians of their right to vote. Clinton Yeboah has more in the following report. Sorry for the technical challenge. That will bring you details for that particular story later on. But as we speak now, the party is in the Asen North constituency where they are organizing a Thanksgiving rally to thank the electorate for voting for their candidate, James Gyakye Quayson, to be the Member of Parliament for the constituency. Let's take you there live now. So let's take you to the constituency where we're being joined by the Deputy National Organizer of the party, Elikem Kotoko, joining us via Zoom. Now, grateful to you, sir, for joining us. So as we speak now, what has been happening since the party got into the constituency? Elikem, kindly unmute so we can follow what you're telling us.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Our sincere commiserations to the families of those who lost their beloved, and also to those who were injured. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to also extend a word of caution to those out there to be careful of the rains. It's come, and it can take lives if we are not careful, so we should tread cautiously. When it comes to Asin North, it's a whole weekend program we have had.
Okay.
If you permit me, since Friday, we've had engagements where we had the Muslim prayers in Breku Central Mosque. And then Saturday, we also had the Thanksgiving church service at the SDA Church and the Savior Church, all in Breku. Then we also have a visitation of the injured at Asin, where you are aware that some 26 party members of ours were injured and they sustained various degrees of injury. One required urgent surgery. We lost one life also in that. A democratic process should never be allowed to be resulting into such casualties. If not, it doesn't give people reason to actually embrace democracy.
Wasn't that by way of the accident they were involved in?
Yeah, it was by way of that, but there were other incidents of there were some pockets of other violence during the election itself, which I'm sure you are aware, where even vehicles of some national officers were vandalized, etc. And so when the team met with the injured, they engaged with them and gave them some assurances and some form of little compensation, which may not be absolute for their injuries and all of that. But that is what has been the case. And today will be the crowning event, which will be a thank you rally, also in Breku, that is aimed at thanking God for all that happened, and that in it all, the people were resolved and they were very definite in what they intend doing for the party, knowing that James Gyakye Quayson was the rightful person, and also trying to directly tell the president that his statements when he came to campaign there were not only reckless, needless, and irresponsible, and very shallow, but also prejudicial. And they were not ready to listen to what he was saying to them at the time of campaign.
So today, we know that the flag bearer, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, is there. Who and who are with him?
The leader of the minority, Honorable Ato Forson, is there. The MP himself is there. The flag bearer, John Mahama, with his running mates are there. We also have some national officers, especially the communications officer, Sami Jemfi, also there, and all other dignitaries. There are some regional officers as well who have joined in. The regional chairman and his executives are also there. And a lot of party faithfuls have all thronged Asenov, Breku to be precise, to join in the thank you rally as the last approach to thanking the people for having faith with the NDC and with the candidate in particular, and making sure that they retain him as the chosen one by themselves.
Your flag bearer is also accusing the Electoral Commission of attempt to rig the 2024 elections. What sort of information are you picking that is probably informing your flag bearer to come to this conclusion that the EC is attempting to rig the elections?
It is not only the flag bearer who has been making this submission. You would agree with me. Not long ago, Professor Atuguba also made it very clear that this whole grand scheme of breaking the eight is not just mere sloganeering, and it is a scheme being worked out. However, President Mahama's submission was very succinct to lay out the fact that the EC's adamance in insisting on just making sure that the Ghana card will be the only source document to be acquired in order to get a voter's ID is aimed at deliberately disenfranchising people. You and I are very aware of the challenges the NIA is even confronted with in making available, printing out Ghana cards as we speak, or the NIA cards for citizens. And if people are not getting them, then various locations where they are supposed to get them. You and we may not see the problem that much because we are in the capital, we are in Accra. But if you go to Gini or you go to some village elsewhere where they have to even travel miles in order to just go and get the registration after the long queue and wait days, weeks, or even months before getting the hold of the Ghana card, it certainly cannot be made the only source document. It gives everybody reason to believe that so long as the Electoral Commission refuses to admit wisdom, refuse to actually heed good counsel, that this is aimed at actually some deliberate chaos. Avoid it. And they do not want to listen. It is just justified to have the absolute conclusion that there's a grand scheme aimed at disenfranchising people, because come to think of it, it is just very true that out there, the general populace are very angry because of the untold economic hardships, amongst other things. And therefore, the larger society out there would want to vote against the regime. And if that's going to happen, it is the opposition that will be the greatest beneficiary. So let's see how best we can disenfranchise more of these people. And that will be to the disadvantage of the opposition, the main opposition party, which I belong to, with John Dramani Mahama heads, which I believe that will be the next president come January 7, 2025.
But doesn't it give us the opportunity to ensure that the mechanisms that would help more people get access to their cards have been put in place to ensure that many of us are getting our cards to be in readiness to take part in these elections?
That is a very brilliant thing to say, my brother. But you would agree with me that the very architect of the process is not ready to put in any such measures. And it is not only about the Electoral Commission putting in measures. It is the NIA. And this is a state institution. And the state institution is currently being handled by a party in power. And so there can be some undue advantage, which will be given to one party right from the word go. And the NIA has actually told us of their challenges, the money challenges they are confronted with. But if you look at the money they spent in Asinov for campaign, they could have as well used that for this exercise. And this is not rocket science. You don't need to hold a PhD, a doctorate, a master's, etc. You just need to be appreciative of common reason. That look, it would just not be proper when you have not put in the right measures to ensure that nobody is disenfranchised. Because come to think of it, if you deliberately, knowingly disenfranchise a citizen of his right to even register or to vote, it is tantamount to unlawful conduct. And that I believe that they can also take legal action.
Okay. Finally, James Gyakye Quayson will be going back to court. I know the party, all of you have had issues with this prosecution. What are your expectations as he heads back to court this week?
We are a party that believes in the rule of law. There is a general perception out there that our judiciary has become compromised and become political. We have seen documentaries that indicted them as well too. We only want to believe that if only due process, due diligence, and fairness is applied, James Gyakye Quayson would actually emerge victor, in the sense that he would actually be cleared of any charges, because we know for the evidence available to us and the facts as we have laid them bare to both the public and we know it ourselves, he has not committed a crime.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Elikem Kotoko, for joining us. He is a deputy national organizer of the NDC. Now, let's go back to our earlier story where the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is alerting the Electoral Commission of the party's readiness to fight back electoral malpractices in the 2024 elections. He claims the EC is in a potential tangent to manipulate outcomes of the general elections. According to Mr. John Mahama, the Commission's new Ghana Card Identification Directive will deprive some Ghanaians of their right to vote. Clinton Yeboah has more in this report.
Despite the opposition from sections of the populace, the Electoral Commission is proceeding with the use of the Ghana card for the compilation of the new voters register. This leaves non-Ghana card-bearing Ghanaian voters incapable to participate in the 2024 general elections. The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress describes the new directive as unnecessary. John Mahama believes the NPP will fasten on the bendable EC leadership and activities to retain power.
The new patriotic party led by President Akufo-Addo has shown that they are prepared to resort to electoral manipulation through the pliant and partisan leadership of the Electoral Commission to hang on to power. It is our responsibility to give expression and manifestation to the desire of the Ghanaian people for change by remaining eternally vigilant and ensuring that the change is secured through democratic means and that no effort at undermining the change through rigging or other form of manipulation will succeed. It is in this light that we in the NDC wish to make clear that we will resist and prevent any sinister plot by the EC to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 elections, even before the first ballot is cast, through the needless and ununderstandable insistence on the Ghana card as the only means of registration. The EC remains intransigent and appears determined to make it difficult for sections of our population to have their names on the voters' register by restricting identification for that purpose to only the Ghana card, which, as we all know, is not available to all Ghanaians. The problems of our country are legion, and the failure of this government have been spectacular on all fronts. To the young people of Ghana represented here by the vibrant members of New Stain, I urge you not to lose hope.
The former president was speaking at the Alumni Connect of the Tertiary Education Institutions Network of NDC at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The Alumni Connect mobilizes leaders of the NDC and mentor the young members of the party for active political engagement. This year's event was themed Empowering Teen, Unlocking Potentials, Building the Bridges of Change. The president of the association, Selma Yuda, is admonishing the party's youth wing to join the struggle to wrestle power from the NPP.
It's not only just about team, but also the youth in the country. Even if you are not a polling agent, you can mobilize people from your jurisdiction, wherever you live, wherever you work. You can preach the good word of the NDC, and you can preach the name of John Dramani Mahama, County State.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yeboah.
To other stories now, the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, has denied the claim by the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco. It is unable to supply gas, thus causing a shortage. Gridco said the situation created a supply gap of 650 megawatt at peak time in the country, causing power outages in several areas. However, WAPCO has absolved itself of any blame. According to the company, it is ready and available to transport gas anytime needed. Here are excerpts of the statement released by WAPCO.
The West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited wishes to set the record straight that we did not have any technical issues and our facilities were and still are fully available to deliver gas. WAPCO transports gas based on its agreements with gas shippers. These shippers purchase gas from gas suppliers, transport the gas via WAPCO pipelines, and sell the natural gas to gas off-takers, mainly power companies. When the agreed volume of gas is made available, WAPCO dutifully transports it to the shippers' customers. The challenge yesterday was that the Ghana National Gas Company's plant at Atuobo went down, and therefore there was no gas available for WAPCO to transport.
Now, the Traditional Council of Boso Amankrado in the Eswejaman district of the Eastern Region is unhappy that President Akufo-Addo has failed to construct their road after 7 years in office. According to the Kontihene of the area, they supported the cause of the NPP in the 2016 elections with the hope and assurance that their deployable road network will be fixed. However, they have been left disappointed after making several attempts to get the government construct the road after the NPP came into office. They are therefore demanding that the over 19-kilometer Enum-Boso road be fixed before the end of 2023. Samuel Mbura visited the community and has come through with this report.
Enum-Boso is a community located in the Sojaman district of the Eastern Region. Dwellers here are predominantly farmers and traders. However, accessible road to the community is a major challenge. The main road, which is about 19 kilometers from Osipe, is not just dusty but bumpy, making it difficult for trucks to cut farm produce from the hinterlands to the market centers. Assembly member for the Boso Cheche electoral area, Afunya Isaac, said the poor road network has contributed to increased cost of transport to the community.
In fact, if you come to this area, their main job is farming. And you know, after farming, you need to transport your product to the nearest market. And if you look at the road, it's 19.4 kilometers from Osebe to Toll Barrier. But because the road is not, sometimes the farmers find it difficult transporting their items. And then due to that, the transportation has become so high. When you come to our area here, transportation is very high, which also affects the price of commodities.
Kobina is a youth leader at Boso. He is frustrated that all petitions to get the road constructed have not yielded the expected results.
Through the assembly member, we have petitioned the district assembly, and then the DC, the district assembly, the MP, we have petitioned all of them, but to no avail. And we don't know what is going on. We have used through social media to advocate for fixed Enum-Boso road, and still now we haven't seen any improvement on the road.
But Kontihene Osabarima Ajima Oboshe II of the Boso Amankrado traditional area said the MPP government should not wait till elections before they begin to work on his road.
MPP government to buy my contract.
When the MPP government came into office, our road contract was awarded and they started working on it aggressively, but stopped the work without reasons known to us. It is worrying. They should not wait for elections to continue the construction. I want everyone to hear this. I told Nana Akufo-Addo when he came to my palace in 2016 as a presidential candidate for the MPP that he will win the elections and should not forget the people of Enum-Boso. But he did not come back to the town after winning the elections. We rather had promises from Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and Dambuji, that the road will be constructed, and still nothing is happening. We want to appeal to the government to fix the road for us before the year ends.
2023.
Meanwhile, farmers will continue to count their losses until the road is fixed, because their produce will be lost to post-harvest losses as a result of the poor road network. Samuel Mbura, Joy News, Enumboso, Eastern Region.
As we're watching Joy Newsroom, but still, we're going to take a quick break, but still to come. First clinic of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair enters second day at the Achimota Mall as exhibitors promise massive discount for prospective homeowners.
So this is something that you can have here at the Achimota Mall. And you know, sometimes you have to travel all the way to Spintex, traffic and all that, and we are closer to you. So if you live around here, it's better to come in here at the Habitat Fair, Achimota Mall.
Welcome back from the break. Now, patrons of the mini clinic at the 2023 EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair say they are overwhelmed with the opportunity provided to learn more about renting or owning their houses in the future. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is bringing together exhibitors and patrons to the Accra Conference Center in September as a one-stop shop to all housing needs. Ahead of the main event, organizers are treating patrons to special packages at the Achimota Retail Center mini clinic. Blessed Soga caught up with some of them.
We're at the Achimota Retail Center, and we're just giving you a prelude to what's about to happen in September when we have the grand EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair for 2023, which is happening at the Accra International Conference Center. But you have a great opportunity from now all through to Sunday to take advantage of what we're calling a mini clinic. It's a surprise for you because there's so much in terms of discounts that you need to know about owning or either renting your home. We have a lot in store for you, and there's so much happening already as we speak here at the Achimota Retail Center, and I need to unpack that surprise for you if you're watching us on the Joy News channel. So why don't we get to it? We're opening the door right now and going through to give you what is in store for you when you come here to the Achimota Retail Center. So come closer, let's get to Cities and Habitat and find out what exactly is going on. So we get to speak to some of them. There are some patrons already engaging Cities and Habitat, but let's speak to some of them who are here. And my good friend is back here with me. Hello.
Hi.
I can see that it's going on well. You're interacting with your, patrons. But how has it been so far, the mini clinic of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair?
Well, so far it's been great. I mean, we were here yesterday. We had some interactions. Today is a Saturday, it's a weekend, so we are expecting to have more people around. It's always like that, so. Really.
I see you wearing rent to own. What's that about?
Okay, so rent to own basically is a project that we are working on in Pram. It's a city development, a well-planned city that we are working on. So we are having houses and lands on sale. We have very, very amazing discounts as well. So we are just here for everybody who wants to own their own property.
What I can say is that they should just try and come and they'll hear it themselves.
So this is something that you can have here at the Achimota Mall. And you know, sometimes you have to travel all the way to Spintex, traffic and all that, and we are closer to you. So if you live around here, it's better to come in here at the Habitat Fair, Achimota Mall, and have an experience of these products.
Yeah, I think I'm just passing around to be able to get one or two advice for,
window.
Yes, it's good for us to pass around to get technical advice. Most of the time, when we are putting our projects, we don't really get advice from the right people. So, these kind of fairs are quite good for us so that we can get advice from the right people.
And I see that also you're getting to learn more about some of the options you have. Are you excited about it?
Yes, sure.
What message do you have, for instance, for those who are, watching, who would say, okay, this one is just on TV. Should they come? What message?
Yeah, of course, you can come. You don't have to really buy, but you can learn for the future. So maybe not today, but you can gain some information for the future.
So you're also planning for the future, a big house.
Yeah, sure.
You want to come over, inquire,
There are mortgage companies available. It is never too late to start. Come and inquire and get to know all that it is to own a property.
Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited giving you a wide range of services, but it's still part of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. The main event will be in September, but the excitement is on from all of our partners. Blessed Sugan reporting from the Chimoto Retail Center. Back to you in the studio, and we'll see those of you who are really excited about owning your home or renting one here at the Chimoto Retail Center for the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair 2023 mini clinic, which is happening right about now. I'll see you soon.
So let's meet at the Achimota Mall where the event is still ongoing, so you can find out for yourself which of the properties you can be owning today or tomorrow. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Stay with us. Now, former head of communications at the Bank of Ghana, A.C. Hammond, is urging public relations professionals to do critical research and be in tune with emerging tools and processes with regards to the practice. According to her, this is necessary in contributing to the growth of organizations. She was speaking at the 7th edition of the Women in PR Summit.
The 7th edition of the Women in PR Summit brought together public relations professionals to deliberate on emerging processes in the field. The summit was held under the theme Positioning PR Women for Growth and Excellence. In an interview, former head of communications at the Bank of Ghana, A.C. Hammond, advised public relations practitioners to research and adopt the use of emerging technology to improve their work.
The teams we've prepared should be so good that management finds it easy to say take over from your base. That is where we should get to. Always including research, always learning, because a lot changes on the global scale. You can see that we have international agencies coming and doing business in Ghana, and they come with a whole host of practices over the time-tested solutions. So when we are here, how do you stay relevant? How do you make sure that you can continue to assume the positions you have and even grow higher? So it is learning throughout, it is sharing experiences, it is imparting knowledge every step of the way.
Communication strategist Ivy Howard Mills also urged the professionals to build an excellent personal brand that will reflect positively on their organizations.
So as PR practitioners, we are walking, talking billboards for the organizations that we represent. Now, while we're looking out for the organization's values, the organization's objectives, and communicating in line with that, we also need to be mindful of our own selves. Who's doing our PR for us? That's where personal branding comes in. If you want to project yourself as the top professional in your field, if you want to be known and respected as the PR person that you are, you need to put it out there. Because these, it's not the analog age anymore where people find different means of attracting talent or getting resource people. People actually do turn to social media a lot. Even when you're applying for a job, you're likely to get scanned on social media. So what you've got out there is so important.
The summit also created an opportunity for industry players to interact with academia.
Now, some fisher folks at Jamestown in Accra say they are living in hunger a week into the close season. The government has imposed a closed season on artisanal fishing from July 1 to August 1, 2023 to allow for the regeneration of the dwindling fishing stock in the sea. But fisher folks say they are unable to fend for their families as fishing is their only source of livelihood. More in this report.
It's been barely a week since Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Madam Hawa Kumsin, led a delegation to perform an annual ritual of closed season. The initiative, since its inception, has received mixed reactions from fisher folks. The story is no different this year, as fisher folks at Jamestown say they are starving. They suggest government should make cash payments to fishers to offset the anticipated revenue loss during the sit-home period in the face of the current economic challenges.
The
The situation is worrying. Fishing is our main source of livelihood, and the closed season makes it difficult for us to pay fees.
No, first question. I've been over where I won't. Can't bow and I don't know.
As I speak to you, I'm starving. Ever since the closed season commenced, we have been starving. The initiative must be stopped.
No, insurance bow no sananya akwago neke problem yani akwafin aho onyera no
kemina anga closes ni bia no kwa court
during the uprise of social vices, government must assist us financially.
Stop we yani manju one week in a walk, and stop.
During the closed season, government used to distribute some provisions to us, but this year we haven't received them. So government must at the initiative.
A visit to the Adabraka market revealed that the cost of fish has increased due to the closed season. In an interaction with some sellers, they say they are recording low patronage as buyers found the prices to be exorbitant. They want government to scrap the season. During the closed season, prices of fish become expensive. Smoked herrings are fish we are able to store for long periods, and because of its lifespan, we are able to hold and sell at our desired price. Our husbands become unemployed during the closed season, which is problematic for us. So we plead with government to take a second look at the initiative. In the past, our bumper catch season was in June, July and August. So the decision to make this period a closed season is quite confusing. A customer complained that she recently bought fish for 250 cedis. Cost of transportation has also doubled, making business expensive and fending for the family difficult.
That'll be all for the Joy Newsroom. There's more on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace, do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.